This week we're heading to the land of the rising sun, sampling the Matsui MIZUNARA cask single malt Japanese whiskey from the Kurioshi Distillery.
Yep, and Nick asked me to talk all about my recent trip to the Isle of Skye.
And if newcomers are wondering what our faces look like, why not head over to Whisky and Things podcast on Instagram and at Whisky and Things on Facebook and Twitter.
And don't forget to give us a review or rating. And please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single show ever.
Smash that subscribe button.
You're listening to Whisky and Things with Nick Kent and Dave Giles.
Welcome to episode 118. We've got your number.
Is that right? 118.
Mate, I wish I had that much hair.
What, the 118 guys?
Yeah, they had all the hair.
Well, it's fashionable to have the tash now after Top Gun.
Oh, of course.
I'm not sure
I haven't seen it yet. I'm going to see it tomorrow.
Oh, mate, you're going to love it. Anyway, you're Dave Giles. I'm Nick Kent. Not sure if you did that whole thing.
That was it.
Welcome to Whisky and Things podcast. But yeah, Top Gun's great. Are you seeing it in IMAX?
Nah, it's too much for me. I'm not sure if it's because the vision...
I thought it was, but I saw it and I sat at the back and it was great. It was really
Anything
good.
I've seen that includes really fast-moving stuff in IMAX is just too much for my brain.
Right.
And I'd rather not see it in a screen that big.
Right. Is that right, 118? Well,
yeah,
I recommend it, 118. I do.
But you have two working eyes.
How do you know? Who said that?
Yeah, my left eye can't cope with all that stuff. I end up just with a headache. So, yeah, I'll just see it normally. On a normal screen.
With normal people.
Enjoy it. With normal people, yeah.
Hey, I was thinking, right, last week we had guests on, so we didn't talk about your trip to Skye.
Oh, yeah.
Should we pour a little bit of what we're going to be drinking this week?
Absolutely.
And just have a bit of a catch up with that.
Sure.
Do me a little sting first.
All right.
How does this work again?
This week's whiskey. That's how that works.
Yeah, it is. The Matsui single malt Japanese whiskey from Kuroyoshi Distillery. This is their MIZUNARA cask. But yeah, we'll have more on that later. I'll have a bit of it's a screw top.
Oh, is it? Is it a nice screw top?
I'm going to say I've seen better.
Okay.
Did I show you this when we were up? I think
I might have done, but it feels like forever ago that I was up.
Yes, there you go. It's this kind
I
was
was there when you did the samples, so I was clearly would have been there when you unscrewed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's all right. It's not like a metal Jameson type thing. Which I think that's a much better opener than the metal Jameson's one. Yeah. And again, it's got to come a long way. So again, I'd rather have a screw top from a distillery that's come half around the world and could possibly have soaked a cork. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
So
Agreed.
I'm fine with that. But anyway, Dave, let's talk about your trip. We cut you off last week because we have a lot to talk about. We did have a lot to talk
about last week, didn't we? Great interview, though. I'm still not over how good that interview was last week. I really enjoyed that.
Danny Walker and Liam Hurt of the
Circumstance Delivery. Circumstance.
What's your circumstance on it?
Good point.
Yeah? Circumstance.
Yeah. I would always say circumstance.
If you were to sing that in an American accent,
because I would say you would say circumstance. If you were northern, isn't it weird how I did the northern one and you did the southern one, and you live up north and I live down south? Isn't that weird?
With stance, yeah.
But I would always say stance. You're right. Oh, language is weird. Do you know what I was just thinking before we press record? Isn't the word park a weird word?
Park.
Yeah.
P-A-R-K.
Yeah, it's just a weird word.
Why?
I don't know.
You take the P off, it's still arc.
I just went out to my car to get a lead, to get a cable, as they say in the US. And I heard some people walking past going, "Oh, where's Hill Park?" And I just thought, it's such a weird word. It's such a weird word. Anyway, because it incorporates so many different things. Like, why did park end up being about fields or play places for kids, and also where you park your car?
It's a space.
It's a weird word. That's all I'm saying. It's had so many different uses.
Every word looks weird if you stare at it enough as well.
Good point. Also,
I was staring at the word English the other day.
Oh, that's a weird word.
Isn't it a weird word? When you look at it, it looks foreign the more you look at it.
Which is really odd. Also, Nick, I was saying happy birthday to someone called Megan, and I realised, why is vegan pronounced vegan when Megan is pronounced Megan? Surely vegan should be Veegan.
Megan. Oh, vegan, as in VE, or maybe VEA.
Because we also say vegetarian. So surely it should be vegan or vegan.
Yes. Vegan. Yeah.
Who made up vegan? Who came up with that? Anyway, we digress massively.
I'm sure there's a podcast for this. For this kind of stuff. There's probably a language podcast out there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Look for it.
I'm sure Annie will tell us. Anyway, yeah, Skye, beautiful place, mate. Absolutely beautiful place. Went up there for 4 or 5 days, but including the driving, it was 6 days. I think the day up into Scotland, up to the Highlands, up to Skye, which is like it's an island on the west coast of Scotland, quite high up.
Yeah.
There is 2 distilleries on the island. One is Talisker, and the one is Toblerone. I was going to say Toblerone.
Toblerone.
But that's not it. One moment while I Google it. Torapaig.
Memorable place then.
Torapaig. Torabhaig distillery. And this is a new distillery opened in 2016, 2017. So just the place itself is wonderful. As I mentioned in the interview, I think it ended up in the final cut. It's like New Zealand. The weather changes so much, and it just comes in, comes out. But also the landscape is very New Zealandy, with hills, sea.
It's green.
Yeah, you're driving along. Suddenly you're driving through a ravine, all that kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like loads of sheep.
Yeah.
It was very New Zealandy.
Loads of hobbits.
Exactly.
Shires.
Well, yeah, it was absolutely. And when you're walking around, there was parts where I felt like I was walking around Jurassic Park because they had fencing.
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah. And a rogue goat on the other side.
Yeah, exactly. And all the different ferns and stuff like that. I just felt like any moment I was going to come across saying, "Danger, do not cross." And
yeah, but you were going to anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then also you've got like Game of Thrones scenery, kind of esque scenery, and Lord of the Rings esque scenery. So it was just quite cinematic, to be honest, to be there. Any photo I took did not do it justice. Just a wonderful place. So we did drive past Talisker, so we went into Talisker, and obviously they used to be the only distillery on the island, and all their marketing used to say such, but now they're the oldest distillery on the island, which is fun. Unfortunately, the visitor centre is closed at the moment. It's being refurbed. It's opening in about 2 months. It looks like the new centre is going to be wonderful. Cool. It's not as big, when you look at it from the outside, it doesn't look as big as you would think, as I thought it would be. It's still fairly big, but I don't really have any concept of what a distillery size should be. But in my head, I thought it was going to be bigger.
Is it quite far away from civilization?
Yeah, but everything is on Skye.
That's what I mean. Like, they're not going to build something massive if the people aren't going to. Get the foot traffic. If you know what I mean.
In fairness, right around the distillery, there is a little town, and it's probably there just for the people who work in the distillery, which is quite amusing. I'm sure we're going to talk more about my feelings on the distillery when we cover the whiskey, if we get round to it.
Okay.
But all I'm going to say is they make this big deal about it being by the sea, and it kind of is, but it's like it's by a lake. It's not like, it may have been the day I saw it. It wasn't like there was big waves crashing against, and I didn't get that big sea air vibe, seaweed in the air. The sea that it's next to is very much landlocked. It's a lock.
Did you get a moist face, Dave?
No, not at all.
No moist face.
So I kind of feel like that's a marketing thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't take away from what they're doing in terms of creating liquid, but I just didn't really get the whole made by the sea as being their main tagline. I just didn't get that. Like, what? That makes a kind of sense, but you're ragging that up massively. So yeah, that was my main vibe with it. What was nice driving around the Isle of Skye is you would every now and then see a little bit of like peat farming.
Oh yeah, bit of peat.
Yeah, like peat. Yeah, but where people had clearly chopped stuff out and used it for whatever. Yeah, like kind of like the square chunks that had clearly been farmed peat.
Yeah,
which was cool.
Was the chunk still there, or was it just the whole? the chunk holes, as it were.
There was a bit of both. Sometimes you would see a hole, and sometimes you would see bits where you could see that they'd left like these square blobs of peat waiting to be picked up or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know what they were waiting for, but that was interesting to see.
To get dried, didn't it?
Yeah.
So what was the other distillery like?
Torp Haig. It's actually really nice, and it's an interesting. They basically bought a building, found out it was listed, so then had to design the stills and all of that around the building because they couldn't actually change the building too much.
Right.
And they make a big deal out of that, and they say it changes the taste of the whiskey, and clearly it would do. But again, I feel like they're probably over-egging it a little bit. But
it depends. If they can fit certain stills in, they might not be able to have like an ascending line arm, for example. They might have had to like have a descending one to fit under the roof because they wouldn't be able to go through the roof, and a shorter necks and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. So obviously that has had an issue with what they're doing. So they're working towards having a 10-year-old. They want that to be their core, and I think it's weird that they've actually said we want to have a 10-year-old as our core range because I don't know what it's going to taste like after 10 years. It feels a bit premature to commit to we're having a 10-year. That's going to be where our whiskey's at its optimum.
Well, I don't know. I quite like the fact they've done that rather than stick something out straight away.
But they have stuck stuff out straight away as well. They've got other. They've got stuff.
I thought you said you're waiting. That's what you told me the other day.
No, they've got what they're calling the legacy range, which is out. So that every year or two they're changing it. So I think there's going to be 4 different releases before they get to their core range 10-year-old. Right. But it's in a lovely setting and near a castle and all that kind of stuff. So actually, it's a nicer spot to go and visit than where Talisker is. Lovely. Right. So that was cool. And then when we were driving home, we went into the Highlands, and suddenly you start seeing signs for distilleries quite a lot. And one of them was literally on the road we were driving, which was Dalwhinnie. So we pulled in.
Dalwhinnie.
Absolutely. And we went into the store. There was no. We had a tour of Torp Haig, by the way.
Yeah,
it's not very big, but we did have the little tour. Didn't let us take any photos inside the distilling room. Don't know why, because all the photos we could have taken were also on the website. So not really sure about that. And yeah, Dalwhinnie, no tours available. They were all sold out for tours, so we couldn't do that. But went into the store. What I will say about the store for Talisker and Dalwhinnie, obviously they're both Diageo brand distilleries. So obviously they're kind of uniform in what they're selling. Fair enough.
As in, what, just core stuff, no special distillery things?
Well, no, they had, Dalwhinnie had a distillery distillery exclusive, but more like they're selling other Diageo brands as well within it and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, it just was more of a whiskey shop rather than specifically that distillery.
Yeah, I get you. That's a bit, yeah, okay, I get you.
Now, I have one other thing to say about Talisker, by the way, is when they were obviously had a tasting bar where you could buy some whiskey and sit there and do your own little tasting and stuff like that. I'm sure you could have had arranged tastings. Not a Glencairn site. They were doing it in tumblers.
The Talisker place.
Talisker.
Right. Okay.
And they didn't even sell any kind of tulip-shaped glass in the store either. I just thought that was odd.
That's a little bit odd. Yeah. Any wine glasses around?
No. Not that I could see. Anyway, it was nice seeing Dalwhinnie.
Always take your own Glencairn when you go to Scotland, everyone.
Absolutely. You need one of these little travel cases like I've got in my hand right now.
Yeah.
Wonderful little things. Anyway, Dalwhinnie was cool. It's cool to see it again, just because obviously we've tasted Dalwhinnie. We know what it is.
Yeah. Highest distillery in Scotland, apparently.
Well, that's the weird thing. That's the one, again, they market that. They've got the winter's gold because they say it's the coldest. Obviously, we're there in June. It wasn't that cold. But when you're there, you also don't feel that high. You don't feel like you're in a mountain range. That doesn't, obviously, I know how geography works. That doesn't mean you're not high up compared to sea level. But it's a bit weird that you don't feel like you're high up, even though apparently you are. And it's essentially just alongside the end of on main road. A big main road goes past. It's not a glamorous location by any stretch, but it's not in a nasty part of Scotland or anything like that. I'd rather go visit there and in areas around that than perhaps Glasgow. Sorry, Glaswegian friends. But
hey, the West End's nice. I like the West End.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying
Can't believe
but the suburbs of Glasgow are a bit rough, aren't they? They are. I don't think I'm saying anything too controversial.
No, there's one part where you come in when you're driving up there.
It's not pretty.
It's around the football grounds, I think.
Yeah, it's all a bit industrial, a little bit run down. There's certain areas that definitely have had improvement around there for sure, and regeneration. But yeah, that's how I thought. Anyway, that was my trip to Scotland, and there was loads of other at that point when we were in Dalwhinnie, and then we drove back down further south. We must have passed 3 other distilleries, but by then it was after 5 o'clock, so we knew the shop wouldn't be open, and by then I'd also already definitely blown my whiskey budget for the year. Because if you're there, it's rude not to, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially if they've got a distillery edition, like exclusive edition. Like,
yeah, I'll tell you what, I resisted the duty free this week. I went to Mallorca for a gig, everyone. Going out, Gatwick going out, the duty free whiskey selection was fantastic. And there were some great travel exclusives, really good stuff. I thought,
get it on the way back, depending on how you feel.
Yeah, and on the way back, I wasn't going to, but it was good that I didn't want to, because coming back through, the selection was terrible. It was like, there was nothing like special. It was all just bog standard stuff, which is good, because it meant I didn't buy anything. But yeah, I was a bit disappointed with that. But yeah, I felt weird buying a litre of whiskey anyway, going somewhere, and then having to bring it back. You know what I mean? Especially because I wasn't checking any bags or anything.
It would have been a pain in the bum to get back in, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
To travel with.
Anyway, there you go. But yeah, it's a bit weird. But there we go. Anyway, that was Dave's trip, everyone.
Yeah. So just basically go and visit Scotland, drive around, enjoy it. It's a beautiful, especially once you get up to the Highlands. Once we got to Loch Lomond, suddenly the scenery just becomes so special. It like, as you're driving up into Scotland from the UK, you go up the M6, right? And then it turns into the M74, and it's just past the base services. Amazing. That scenery all around there is amazing. And then you get up to Glasgow, and then you go past that, and then suddenly it all opens up once you reach Loch Lomond, and it's just stunning.
Were you at Fort William?
We did stop at Fort William, yeah.
Yeah, Fort William's fantastic. Ben Nevis, all that kind of deal.
Yeah. We drove right past all that stuff.
Yeah,
and that
gorgeous.
Was
gorgeous.
It's stunning, isn't it? Yeah, amazing.
Absolutely stunning. Right, shall we
talk about this whiskey?
Whiskey?
So, Nick, tell me about this distillery then.
No!
I know nothing about it other than I saw it online and thought, MIZUNARA wood. We've had that before and it was lovely. And the Chivas we had that was finished in MIZUNARA cask was also lovely. So I figured, why not get something for Nick?
Yes, Dave bought this for me, everyone. Thank you very much, Dave. This is part of my 40th birthday bonanza. But yes, thank you very much. So, Kuriyoshi Distillery, they got in a bit of trouble a few years ago, apparently, because
did they?
This is one. Japanese whiskey has always been a bit vague sometimes about what they put in the bottle because they didn't have proper regulations. Apparently, this was one of the distilleries where they were kind of sourcing from Scotland, bottling it, maybe like in their blends and stuff, and not telling people. But again, it wasn't legal, didn't have to. But this one is a single malt made by them, and aged there at the distillery.
It's very light in colour, isn't it? I'm guessing it's quite young. Is it young?
Yeah, again, it's a non-age statement, but I found somewhere that it's only 3 years.
Okay.
Again, fine. Strength 48%. Again, bit vague. It says aged in MIZUNARA oak. I think it's full term, but then I did find on some other website there may be bourbon plus MIZUNARA finish, but I think that website's wrong because it's I don't know. Again, it's quite vague. My suspicion is it's full term MIZUNARA. MIZUNARA's Japanese oak. Everyone, we've gone through this before. Kind of a tight grain on it, giving it a very specific taste. Quercus crispula, apparently.
Nice.
Is it Quercus or Caucus?
I would say Quercus, but
Quercus.
Caucus will also work, I guess.
I'll go Quercus actually with the E rather than the A. Yeah. As we're talking about language today.
I mean, who knows? Words are weird.
Words are weird.
Also, who comes up with these names for plants? Like the real names of plants, the Latin names are just crazy.
Is it still who kind of discovered things and then they latify them?
And they can choose whatever they latify.
Is that a word?
Yes. That sounds like some kind of app you can get. Latify this.
Yes. Yeah. I'll tell you what they've done here as well. If you latify something and it might read a bit differently. On their website, the Kuriyoshi website. I think they've kind of done that they've just put the Japanese in and then translated it to English.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Kuriyoshi, the foothills of Mount Deasden. That's where it's kind of situated. Apparently that's where they get the water from. That's where they dilute it from. Here is a fine water that is indispensable for whiskey distilling. Kuriyoshi called that life is good. Can't just see that on a podcast, quotation marks, is the origin of the word. But the annual temperature range in the Sea of Japan side is large. And the aging of whiskey also advances quickly compared to the actual situation like Isla Island. Yeah?
Wow.
You get that? It is no exaggeration to say that whiskey with an E, before they said whiskey without an E, is made by barrel and the nature. Our distillery is not big. We have a small number of staff. However, we will continue to strive, all the staff, with the desire to deliver the best whiskey without an E. But anyway,
fair enough.
You get what they get what they mean.
Yeah,
I love that kind of thing.
So what I was thinking even before you read that, I mean, language aside, was that I imagine the reason that it doesn't need to be in the wood as long is because climate's different and all that kind of stuff. And I think this wood probably does more to the whiskey than other woods because it's tight grain. Tight. What did you say? It was tight something or other?
Yeah, tighter grain. I think.
Tighter grain.
I think it grows slower. A bit like Swiss whiskey, Swiss oak. I remember we were talking about that once.
Yeah,
it's very tight like a toiga.
You mean Swedish?
Yeah. Oh, I told you I was tired. Before we started. Yeah.
Pretty sure it was Swedish.
Yeah, it was. I've just, wow, having a great show, everyone. I did have a bit of Nick's special time before the show. It's been a while since I've had a bit of Nick's special time. I need a little bit just to, it's a complex one.
On the nose, I really like it.
Me too. I like the taste too.
I haven't. I've been swirling it around in this glass and just enjoying. Thank you. Enjoying the smell. Fruit pastels is what I'm getting, and
I'm getting. It's quite lemony. There's citrus stuff in there, kind of oaky, like oriental, like spiciness.
Yeah. There's definitely a spiciness to it, but also that citrusy. The lemon fruit pastel was what I was thinking. You know, the yellow.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm getting a bit of pear as well.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it's very fruity. Spiced fruit.
Yes.
Spiced fruit. I'm going to taste it now.
The artwork on the bottle is fantastic. We do have a box as well. It won gold at the World Spirits Competition, San Francisco, at some point, 2019. It says on the back here, it is actually made in Japan, distilled and aged at that distillery. Fantastic. This is actually limited edition artwork bottling for the international markets. So this is stuff they don't sell this in Japan. This is for international markets. What we got here.
What do you think of the taste?
I like the taste. You do get a sense that it is only 3 years, but I'm enjoying it.
It is nice. Yeah, there's something in there that's really nice. There's a sweetness to it, isn't there?
It does have a bit of smokiness to it as well.
Yeah, and
it's not peated or anything, but there is a smokiness.
Not blow your head off smokiness, but yeah, there is an element to it, isn't there? I'm not sure that someone starting out on a whiskey journey is going to enjoy this one that much.
No, it's not an easy drinker.
No,
for sure.
But it's nice.
Yes,
long finish.
It burns for a while, doesn't it?
Yeah, and that's what I mean by that. Like it my tongue is still reacting to it, having not had a sip for about a minute now.
Yeah,
getting the saliva glands going, which I enjoy. So it actually feels a little bit stronger than 48%.
Yeah, I can get that. I can get on board with that.
It's not uncomfortable for me, but I think some would find that uncomfortable because I like the stronger ones anyway. Because I like that sensation. Yeah, but I know some people don't. So that's how I feel about it. I can't remember what I paid for it, but I think it was definitely over 50 quid.
Okay.
I feel it was over 50 quid.
It was a Master of Malt.
That's where I got it from.
Yeah, it was £115.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah. No, because this was out of the ones I got you. This was the expensive one.
Yeah, I remember you saying that. Yeah.
Is it worth that?
Not sure.
Mind, I spent that money. I'm not so sure. I'm not sure.
The bottle it's kind of got the Hibiki vibe with the bottle.
Oh no, that's
lots of different size. Not quite. It's got kind of round in the middle. But this artwork as well is done by an artist. It's called 36 Views of Mount Fuji. That's what this artwork's called.
Oh, very nice.
Apparently by, here we go, Katasushi Hokusai.
Excellent.
You're welcome, listeners.
Yeah, you've done a great job there.
Thanks.
So I'm just looking. The Hibiki Japanese Harmony is 70 quid.
We're a fan of that, weren't we?
Yeah, that's better than this. Having now tasted this, if I was going to spend over 60, 70 quid on a bottle of whiskey, and they were my two options.
Is that a blend, that one? It was, wasn't it?
It is a blend.
Hibiki. Yeah.
But that's a really, I mean, it's just because it's Japanese, it's maybe I'm being a little bit unfair, but we haven't had that many Japanese whiskies.
No.
So I'm comparing it to that for that reason.
I'm preferring the nose than the taste.
I definitely prefer it on the nose than the taste. But that's not to say I'm not enjoying it. I just think for that price, it's probably a little bit steep.
The Mizunara-ness, I'm not recognising.
That's what I'm
recognising the Mizunara-ness, because in everything else we've had, which is Mizunara, we can kind of pick it out, and not like we're not seasoned.
You're picking out an oak, aren't you? An
118.
oakiness, which I'm definitely not on the flavour. I'm getting a little bit on the nose, but not too much.
I think maybe it's that because it's 3 years, it hasn't had its day. If you know what I mean, it hasn't kind of been able to affect.
Although
it.
the shivers that was finished in Mizunara, that wouldn't have been in there more than 6 months.
No, I don't know. This doesn't say anything. They don't give you much information. That's the issue.
On the nose, I'm smelling. It feels more vanilla-y, that bourbon cask than a Mizunara cask. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I'm not sure if I can pick it out, but there we go.
Don't get me wrong. I still want to drink this lots.
Yeah,
it's really tasty. I'm just putting it into perspective of other things we've had and how much it is, and so on and so forth. And we're just being perhaps a little bit disappointed with it. It's probably one of the first whiskies we've done since we started scoring, which doesn't get a mark for did it meet your expectation. I think there may have been another one as well, but it hasn't met my expectation of what I hoped this would be.
Let me read what's on the back. Aged in Japanese oak known as Mizunara. Oaky with hints of oriental spices, rich mouthfeel and toffee-like sweetness. I'm not sure I'm getting a toffee-like sweetness.
I'm definitely not getting any toffee in there.
No.
Still, that's what they say.
Some other tasting notes are found online just for our, listeners' benefit. Nose, a fresh floral aroma, followed by sweet vanilla and baking spice with a touch of creamy coconut. Palate, a velvety mouthfeel with rich oak, cinnamon, ginger, and a touch of chili spice, balanced by toffee sweetness. There's that toffee sweetness again. Finish, smooth and silky. I'm not sure about that. Caramel lingers alongside floral oak. Tobacco. Maybe that's the smokiness I'm picking up. And vanilla pod. Yeah, all right. I can get on board with the tobacco.
All right. I'm now. You keep saying toffee. I'm now getting it, but am I getting it because you put that in my head?
I feel the toffee's more like a mouthfeel than a flavour. Anyway.
What, you feel like you're chewing it?
At the end, yeah. You are. You're a bit like, you just finished a toffee.
Yeah.
And you got the saliva in your mouth.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Not when you're doing it. When you just finished and your mouth's fully of saliva, you're just finishing it off.
Yeah, you've nailed that, in fairness. That's a great description of what I'm feeling.
How I'm feeling. I don't know what that was. Right, so we score it. Looks like you already are. So
no, I was getting the page ready. I feel like I want to say yes to the further reading just because it's so funny.
Yeah.
Not because we got much out of it.
We want it to be a bit mysterious, don't you? There's some nice pictures and stuff. A high business aspiration could not be composed by individual.
I mean, what does that even mean?
It is vital to have company members be able to sympathise with management philosophy. Wow. The existence of the company is like a family. To contribute to society through the production of liquor
with the same beliefs and integration companion. Yep. Anyway.
You're listening to Whisky and Things. These British people talk funny.
And we're back in the room.
All right. We're back in the room. Well, it ends up with 44.29 as an average. Nick gave it 42.86. I gave it 45.71, which I think is probably fair. That it ends up in the 40s, the same as the Bladnoch Pure Scott Signature Blended Scotch. Above the 2 in the 30s we've got, which is the Bowmore 12 and the Gordon MacPhail Kalila 13. Right. Which I think you would have expected both of them to be better. Interestingly, I think 3 of those 4s you would have expected to be better, like to have got high scores, including this one.
What has let us down is its value for money. We didn't give it any in the value for money section, did we?
Yeah.
I mean, I like the bottle. I marked it down, or didn't give it a mark for the opening. I think it could have been a bit nicer, but you know, the bottle's nice. I like the artwork and stuff. But yeah, mainly it was the value for money. You know, when you can get like a Beaky for half, not even more than half the price, but under £100.
Yeah, 40 quid less is the Hibiki Harmony, which is really. As I was marking it, what I did think was actually, if you gave me this as a blind test and said, "Where is this from?" would I have said Japan? And I think I would have probably. It's so easy to say this, but I think it doesn't taste like a Scotch. It kind of does, but it kind of doesn't as well. I think I definitely would have said it's New World.
No, I wouldn't have put this Scotch territory.
No. And actually, the more I'm sitting with it, the more I'm enjoying the aftertaste. There's a real fruitiness. Like even now in my mouth, I've not had a sip for ages. And there's a lovely fruitiness at the top of my mouth, which I'm really enjoying. Again, that could just be with all other things that are going on in my life today that might be contributing to that. But I'm sitting here going, the top of my mouth feels really nice.
What else has been going on in your life today, Dave?
Well, did just have a sandwich.
Okay.
Had a couple of cups of tea. I had some Ribena earlier.
You're wearing a very loud T-shirt again. So
I love this.
Has that contributed to your
quite possibly? I might be looking at the reflection of myself in Zoom, thinking, fruity.
Yeah, he doesn't even have me on. He just has himself.
Busted.
Yeah, do it. He hasn't noticed I'm wearing the same T-shirt I've worn for the last 5 weeks or something.
Talking of which, Nick, I have one of your T-shirts at my house. I took it home when I stayed at you.
Really?
At yours. Yeah, I obviously scooped it up when I was collecting my clothes from your room.
Which one?
One of your tight black Primark T-shirts.
One of my many tight black Primark T-shirts. Yeah, I'm not surprised I didn't miss it. Be honest.
But yeah, it's been washed. It's hanging up in my wardrobe.
Fantastic.
Next time you're down, you can have it back if you want.
Lovely.
It definitely doesn't fit me.
I would like it. I would like that back.
Anyway. So yeah, on the whole, I do like this whiskey. It's not scored well for us because, again, value for money. Also didn't meet my expectations. I was hoping it'd be better than it is, but that doesn't mean it's not good. No. I think that comes into how much I paid for it and the fact it was the Mizunara cask. And
it's come a long way. Again, you got the tariffs and stuff. You got the import. If you were to buy this out there, it's not going to be that much money.
You'd hope not.
And you think the Hibikis and stuff, because it's maybe a bigger company, they get a better rate and they can import more. This is maybe a less volume, so it's going to cost a bit more. So unfortunately, that's where it comes down. It comes down to business.
Yeah. Economies of scale and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Probably going to go up as well with fuel. Fuel prices, tariffs. Should we talk about that? Should we talk about global economics, Dave? Let's do it. Sting me. Let's not do that. Let's never do that.
The whiskey. Nicholas, do you have any other business?
No.
Neither do I.
No, I don't think so. We kind of covered it in the beginning with your holiday and
your trip to Mallorca. Mallorca or Mallorca?
In Mallorca, water don't taste quite like it oughta. Do you remember that? There's a Carling Black Label advert, I think.
I was going to say, was that something like that?
Yeah. But no, we've integrated the Any Other Business into the show seamlessly.
Absolutely.
Seamlessly.
Well, in that case, Nick, Angela's had their share.
To be really short, yes. And I've had mine, and you've had yours, listeners. Cheers.
Cheers, 118.
For coming. 118?
118. Got your number.
You got my number. Whisky and Things has been brought to you by and